invest my own money in the companies that I create. I don't believe in the whole thing of just using other people's money. I don't think that's right. I'm not going to ask other people to invest in something if I'm not prepared to do so myself. People work better when they know what the goal is and why. It is important that people look forward to coming to work in the morning and enjoy working. I do think there should be some regulations on AI. Brand is just a perception, and perception will match reality over time. Sometimes it will be ahead, other times it will be behind. But brand is simply a collective impression some have about a product. We can't have willy-nilly proliferation of fake news. That's crazy. You can't have more types of fake news than real news. That's allowing public deception to go unchecked. That's crazy. Rockets are cool. There's no getting around that. We're running the most dangerous experiment in history right now, which is to see how much carbon dioxide the atmosphere can handle before there is an environmental catastrophe. I've actually not read any books on time management. We're already cyborgs. Your phone and your computer are extensions of you, but the interface is through finger movements or speech, which are very slow. People should pursue what they're passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. With artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water and he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Doesn't work out. When I was in college, I wanted to be involved in things that would change the world. Great companies are built on great products. If you go back a few hundred years, what we take for granted today would seem like magic. Being able to talk to people over long distances, to transmit images, flying, accessing vast amounts of data like an oracle. These are all things that would have been considered magic a few hundred years ago. If you don't have sustainable energy, you have unsustainable energy. The fundamental value of a company like Tesla is the degree to which it accelerates the advent of sustainable energy faster than it would otherwise occur. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself. I think life on Earth must be about more than just solving problems. It's got to be something inspiring, even if it is vicarious. I'm interested in things that change the world or that affect the future in wondrous new technology where you see it and you're like, wow, how did that even happen? How is that possible? If you're entering anything where there's an existing marketplace against large, entrenched competitors, then your product or service needs to be much better than theirs. It can't be a little bit better, because then you put yourself in the shoes of the consumer. You're always going to buy the trusted brand unless there's a big difference. The path to the CEO's office should not be through the CFO's office, and it should not be through the marketing department. It needs to be through engineering and design. I will never be happy without having someone. Going to sleep alone kills me. I say something, and then it usually happens. Maybe not on schedule, but it usually happens. Any product that needs a manual to work is broken. I'd like to dial it back 5% or 10% and try to have a vacation that's not just email with a view. The problem is that at a lot of big companies, process becomes a substitute for thinking. You're encouraged to behave like a little gear in a complex machine. Frankly, it allows you to keep people who aren't that smart, who aren't that creative. The future of humanity is going to bifurcate in two directions. Either it's going to become multiplanetary, or it's going to remain confined to one planet and eventually there's going to be an extinction event. I'm a Silicon Valley guy. I just think people from Silicon Valley can do anything. I think we have a duty to maintain the light of consciousness to make sure it continues into the future. The United States is definitely ahead in culture of innovation. If someone wants to accomplish great things, there is no better place than the US. There's a silly notion that failure's not an option at NASA. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. To make an embarrassing admission, I like video games. That's what got me into software engineering when I was a kid. I wanted to make money so I could buy a better computer to play better video games. Nothing like saving the world. The value of beauty and inspiration is very much underrated, no question. But I want to be clear, I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad. America is the spirit of human exploration distilled. I don't create companies for the sake of creating companies, but to get things done. Mars is the only place in the solar system where it's possible for life to become multiplanetarian. Starting a business is not for everyone. Starting a business, I'd say number one is have a high pain threshold. If humanity doesn't land on Mars in my lifetime, I would be very disappointed. An asteroid or a supervolcano could certainly destroy us, but we also face risks the dinosaurs never saw. An engineered virus, nuclear war, inadvertent creation of a micro black hole, or some as yet unknown technology could spell the end of us. If you think back to the beginning of cell phones, laptops, or really any new technology, it's always expensive. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is disaster. Patience is a virtue, and I'm learning patience. It's a tough lesson. If you're trying to create a company, it's like baking a cake. You have to have all the ingredients in the right proportion. I would like to die on Mars, just not on impact. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket, as long as you control what happens to that basket. Tesla is here to stay and keep fighting for the electric car revolution. I think life on Earth must be about more than just solving problems. It's got to be something inspiring, even if it is vicarious. If you look at our current technology level, something strange has to happen to civilizations, and I mean strange in a bad way. And it could be that there are a whole lot of dead, one-planet civilizations. I've actually made a prediction that within 30 years a majority of new cars made in the United States will be electric. And I don't mean hybrid, I mean fully electric. The space shuttle was often used as an example of why you shouldn't even attempt to make something reusable. But one failed experiment does not invalidate the greater goal. If that was the case, we'd never have had the light bulb. Silicon Valley has some of the smartest engineers and technology business people in the world. I wish we could be private with Tesla. It actually makes us less efficient to be a public company. The odds of me coming into the rocket business, not knowing anything about rockets, not having ever built anything, I would have to be insane if I thought the odds were in my favor. What I'm trying to do is to make a significant difference in spaceflight and help make spaceflight accessible to almost anyone. I'm reasonably optimistic about the future, especially the future of the United States, for the century at least. It would take 6 months to get to Mars if you go there slowly, with optimal energy cost. Then it would take 18 months for the planets to realign. Then it would take 6 months to get back, though I can see getting the travel time down to 3 months pretty quickly if America has the will. I was born in Africa. I came to California because it's really where new technologies can be brought to fruition, and I don't see a viable competitor. If you look at space companies, they've failed, either because they've had a technical solution where success was not a possible outcome, they were unable to attract a critical mass of talent, or they just ran out of money. The finish line is usually a lot further away than you think. Trying to read our DNA is like trying to understand software code, with only 90% of the code riddled with errors. It's very difficult in that case to understand and predict what that software code is going to do. The problem with car dealerships is you've already decided what you want to buy before you even go there, and you're really just going there to talk through some annoying negotiation. I care very deeply about the people at Tesla. I feel like I have a great debt to the people of Tesla who are making the company successful. What most people know but don't realize they know is that the world is almost entirely solar-powered already. If the sun wasn't there, we'd be a frozen ice ball at 3 degrees Kelvin, and the sun powers the entire system of precipitation. The whole ecosystem is solar-powered. We polled Tesla owners, do you want autopilot disabled or not? Not one person wanted it disabled. That's pretty telling. It's not as though we can keep burning coal in our power plants. Coal is a finite resource too. We must find alternatives, and it's a better idea to find alternatives sooner than wait until we run out of coal. And in the meantime, put God knows how many trillions of tons of CO2 that used to be buried underground into the atmosphere. When I was a child, there's one thing I said: I never want to be alone. That's